Hello and welcome to Thursday Tips and Tricks. Today I have some workflow tips for you to help you create responsive designs in Sketch very easily and without using any plugins. Stay with me. Okay, I created a simple interface for you for this demonstration and I'm going to open it up right now. So as you can see, this is a very simple interface with just few items. We have this image, a heading, a divider, some text, some status items, a button and a menu. Now, Sketch has built in this awesome tool which was previously available only via plugins, and the tool enables you to achieve responsive design very easily. Now, for example, when I select this image, here on the right I have this resizing box, as you can see. Now the idea is I can use this tool to fix the dimensions and aspect ratio of the items as I want it to be. For example, I want to pin this image to the left, to the right and to the top edge of this artboard. So I'm going to select the image and I'm going to click here to the left, to the right and to the top. Now this here is the object that you have selected, and the outer square is actually the parent of the object. This is very important, so when you get into groups you will see how much this can help you have your aspect ratios of your artboard items in line. So when I select this artboard and I start resizing this, as you can see, this image is always staying the same. The distance from the edges, which is in this case 0. So let me undo this. And what I want to achieve now is I want to save the height of this image. So I'm going to go here and click Fix Height. And now when I start resizing this artboard, I achieve this. It's always the same height. Now when I go undo, and now let's check out the design a bit more. For example, I have this bottom menu. What I want to do with it is when I start resizing this artboard height-wise, for example, I want to fit some more items in here. This gets skewed, so I have to do the same thing that I've done with the image, but for the bottom. So I'm going to fix a height, and I'm going to pin to the bottom, to the left, and to the right edge. Now what do I have? I have this. I can easily resize this artboard, and those two items are always staying at the top and at the bottom. So as you can see, now I can see what do I have to do with these items in order to keep them in place. For example, I would always like to have this heading, divider and this text to be always at the same distance from the top of this artboard. So I go to my original design and I select this and I pin it to the top edge and to the left edge. So because it's text, and you'll see in a minute why. When I select this divider, and I want always to keep it the same distance from the top of the artboard, so I pin it to the top edge, and I always want it to be the same distance from the sides of the artboard, so I pin the left and the right edge. So let's see what happens now when I start resizing this artboard. As you can see, the divider is automatically changing the length, and it's always staying the same distance from here, and this heading is always the same distance from its neighboring items. So what else? For example, I want to keep this button always the same distance from the right and from the bottom edge. So what do I do there? I pin it to the right edge, to the bottom edge, and for example, I want to keep the height and the width the same, always, because the text is not going to change anywhere. So I'm gonna lock both height and width and the distances from the right edge and from the bottom edge. And right now I have this. As you can see, this button is always staying the same and the distances are always the same. But I hope that you noticed something. These icons are getting skewed, resized, the aspect ratio is lost, and you want to avoid this with this type of resizing. So I'm gonna go back to my initial design and I'm gonna dive in these groups. So I'm gonna open this up and I'm going to open all of these items here. And now I can select the icons themselves. So I have selected these 3 icons, and I'm going to say fix width, fix height. I've locked their aspect ratios, so I don't think that there's going to be any problems right now. Let me see what happens. Excellent. As you can see, the height and width are the same, and the distances are always the same at any size of this artboard. So now what I need to do is to see what I'm going to do with this text. Now, because all of these items are already locked, I'm going to use the same principle for the text. I'm going to lock the left and the top edges of this. Now, when it comes to these stats, the thing is that I cannot lock them to this text because this is automatically changed. When I resize the artboard anyway, the text is going to shrink. I mean, not shrink, but it's going to, you see how what happens is when you resize the width, the number of the lines is getting smaller. So I can probably fix all this text. I can fit this text in one line, as you can see. So this is not going to be a good solution for this. So I'm gonna go back to my original design, and for these I'm going to lock to the bottom and to the left, and I'm probably going to lock the width of these items. So right now when I start resizing this, I get, yes, exactly what I wanted. So let's check out what we have done so far. These are increments of 8 as usual. As you can see now, this is 16 pixels here, 32 pixels here, this is 16 and 16, and this is 16 and 432 pixels from the top of the artboard. When I resize this, let's say I'm going to use this tablet. What do I have now? I see, you see, I have 16 and I have 32, and here I have 16, 16, and here I have 16 and 432, as I was saying. But I've noticed that I have not fixed the height of these items, and this is why these items have resized their height according to the resizing of the artboard. And I want to avoid this, so I'm going to go back to my original design, and I'm going to also fix height on these. So what does happen now when I resize the artboard, let's say to a desktop size? These are staying the same height, and then these items are in line with the button as it was supposed to be from the start. Let's check this out. Exactly, yes, as you can see, these are at the same height. So basically this is what you have to do in order to achieve a responsive design fairly easily. There is a learning curve to this tool. There is a certain period of time which you have to spend with it in order to learn how to properly use it. As you saw, I made some mistakes on this journey and I had to go back and readjust the items. So this way you can, when you learn how to use this tool, you can easily reproduce the tablets, the desktop versions of these interfaces, of course, if necessary. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video and sticking with me so far. And if you liked what you saw, you can like the video, you can maybe share it or subscribe, and I hope that I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Bye!